Much, Mallory, we're just about 2 weeks away from the end of the year. A lot to reflect upon here in Metro Louisville.
So we brought Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg into the studio today to talk to us about a number of important topics. So, Mayor, thank you for joining us today. And I know Doug has one he's really been following.
Well, all right. The reports from Business First about the Humana building becoming our next hotel in downtown Louisville. It would be the second biggest hotel in the city if this comes to fruition. Is this true? Is the Humana building set to become a hotel?
Well, I'm going to simply say that we are working towards a wonderful project for the next chapter of the Humana building. And we've been working closely with Humana. There have been several interested developers. We're working now with one in particular. I'm not going to deny the report, but I'm going to continue to just work quietly, and we hope to have an announcement early in the new year.
Well, the report's pretty detailed, and they cited sources, and they talk about the Poe Companies, which is a locally owned firm here. Steve Poe has developed many hotels in Louisville. The Marriott saying it'd be 1,000 rooms, and it would also use the existing structure, but build in another tower where Vincenzo's restaurant is near where Vincenzo's.
That has all the makings of what would be a wonderful next chapter for this project.
Okay. Have the problems with the building been a source of making it harder to sell, just some of the issues in the building? Or?
Yeah, any conversion project of a building is challenging, and when there are some of the issues that have been publicly reported about, that does make it a little bit more challenging. But we have a lot of good people. Humana is committed to an exciting next chapter. We've got a great development team we're talking to in the city and state want to be supportive of the next chapter.
So originally Poe was looking at the Museum Plaza site, which you're familiar with. You were once involved in that in your role at 21C. Has he moved off that site now to look at Humana?
I'm going to talk about things next year when we have an actual project to announce.
This is downtown. This is your big investment.
It is, and I'm working hard at it, but I also believe in the need for confidentiality as you're working to make sure something can happen before you get ahead of yourself.
I see. So is it in the process?
We are working hard on a project on the next chapter of the Humana Tower.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, let's talk about something you've been wanting to talk about. You talked about today, actually, was homicides down in Louisville, overall crime. We also reported today on the teenagers in that auto theft, and youth violence has been an issue here. What can you tell us about efforts to continue to reduce youth violence, and also I know you want to talk about the homicide.
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud of the progress that we've made under Chief Humphrey's leadership. LMPD is doing a great job, and you just reported on some of that progress where they're breaking up both violent crimes but also other types of crimes as well, and like the crime ring that you just mentioned. Since I've been mayor, shootings are down by over 40%. This year alone, shootings and homicides are down over 20%. Carjackings, robberies, assaults, all down. It's not nearly enough. We can and we must do more. And so that's what LMPD is focused on. That's what my Safe Louisville plan is focused on, preventing crime from happening in the first place. That's what you're going to continue to see more of. We're investing in new violence prevention programs. We're helping middle school students find new pathways in life, because we need to reach out to these kids that are headed on the wrong path early in life before, and it's sad. I mean, we are seeing far too much gun violence between the ages of 16 and 24-year-olds. Shooting at other 16 to 24-year-olds. We've got to reach them early.
Jarena Weathers, the Jefferson County Commonwealth's attorney, has been in here, and she's talked about this before, about parents facing consequences for teenagers who are involved in violent crimes. Like we just reported, where do you stand on that? Should parents pay a price, a fine? Should they face any jail time?
Being a parent is one of the greatest responsibilities of my life, of anyone's life I know, and there are great responsibilities that come with that. So yes, there should be responsibilities for parents, and we should figure out what that is, and people should know where their kids are. It's easy these days. You can tell on your phone in so many different ways to know where your children are, particularly late at night. And so I think parents do have a role to play in all of this, and we should be having serious conversations about what that is.
Okay. Speaking of being a parent, your son at Brown University, certainly such a scary situation up there. Can you kind of give us your perspective? How's he doing, and kind of what have you talked to him
Well,
about?
The good news is that Ben was able to make it home last night. So there were great hugs from Rachel and I with Ben, and we were able to celebrate Hanukkah together last night, and he got to see some friends from high school, which I think was wonderful. You know, it was incredibly scary for him and for every other Brown student and for the entire Providence community, and they're still living in fear right now as they work to apprehend the suspect and get answers. But Saturday night, immediately brought me back to the assassination attempt on me. It immediately brought me back to that horrible week in April of 2023 when our community suffered through the Old National Bank shooting, followed by another shooting in Chickasaw Park just days later. But it's different as a father, and just there to support him, to answer questions, to think through things, to provide reassurance for him and his roommates who were barricaded in a room literally all night long as they waited for answers and guidance from the Providence authorities.
We're glad Ben's back and your family's together for Hanukkah.
Thank
and I
you.
think you're leaving here to go to 4th Street. Are
That's
you
right,
involved
going
with
to light the menorah.
menorah light.
Yes. Awesome.
All right. Thank you very much, Mayor Craig
Thank you
Greenberg.
all so much.
Appreciate it.